Man down. Tua, if you don't know, plays for the Miami Dolphins. Over the past few seasons, he's had a handful of concussions. I believe he's up to
Mm-hmm.
like 4 or 5. And they said maybe a couple were even not even reported, so it might even be more than that. But on his last game, was it against the Bills?
Yeah, going against the Bills,
Yeah, against the Bills,
they was getting whooped anyway.
he went for a run and he ran, and I don't know. He doesn't know how to he doesn't know how to slide. He doesn't know how to take a hit properly. And when he gets pushed, he just doesn't know how to roll with it, because it seems like he's always some way, shape, or form finding a way to snap his head real hard.
Horrible.
And he got stiff again. You know when they get the concussion, and it's gonna be, they said he's gonna come back, but we don't know how long is he gonna be out. Is it gonna be like only a couple weeks? Is it like a month? Is he missing half the season? What are we looking at? And we got a video here of the coach at the press conference after the game, kind of giving his thoughts on the situation. Do you have anything before I start the video?
Let's see what let's see what Mike got to say, man.
I think it's safe for Tua to play football, considering he's had 4 concussions in I think 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I think that's from a medical standpoint. That's I don't approach things that I'm far inferior of expertise. I'm just there to support my teammate, like I said, and I think there's for me to go ahead and forecast things that I don't know in my non-field of expertise, I don't think that's appropriate. I think we'll find out some more information tomorrow in terms of where Tua's at. He'll be able to spend a good amount of time being evaluated, and then we'll have conversations and progress as appropriate. But I'm like the rest of his teammates who he went around the locker room and connected with. Trying to keep as a leader, he's trying to keep the guys' heads up and he'll be.
It's time for Tua to retire from football. For those of you that missed the play, he collided with Damar Hamlin's arm and got knocked out. This was a really routine tackle from a player that's not that big of a defensive player in Damar Hamlin. This marks the 4th concussion that Tua's had in less than 2 years. Here's a couple flashbacks to some 2022 plays where he clearly had concussions. Tua's a young man with his entire life ahead of him, and we've seen what happens in the NFL when we let players play too long, get too many concussions, and lose their minds. I know Tua's taken some preventative measures to try to prevent concussions, such as taking jiu-jitsu to learn how to fall more effectively, but it seems like after every hit, he's able to get knocked out easier than the previous one. And this is a common thing in boxing and in MMA as well. They say once your chin starts to go, it really starts to go quick. In other words, the more you get knocked out, the more likely it is to happen again. Like I said earlier, the Damar Hamlin play was a super standard tackle. It really does seem like he could be losing his chin. As a fan, you've got to want Tua on the field, but if Tua was in your family, you'd have to think you want him to hang it up. All we can do for now is wish Tua a speedy recovery and give him the chance to talk this over with his family and figure out what the best thing for him to do as a human being is moving forward.
Exactly. I mean, but you see, Tua says no, he's gonna return. He doesn't want to retire, and I mean, like you said in the video, Tua's already been recorded since the NFL to three to four concussions. A lot of times, what the Dolphins have been doing, allegedly, they've been just naming only one of his injuries. So if he had a leg injury and his head hit the floor, they're not gonna basically say anything about a concussion. They're only going to mention the leg injury, which basically raised a lot of suspicions in the NFL, and which made a lot of changes that have caused a lot of changes now in the NFL protocol. But let me tell you about Tua, man. He was drafted in 2020 to the Miami Dolphins. Man, he's 26 years old right now. He just signed a $214 million contract extension this past July to the
I hope they got
Dolphins.
insurance on that.
I mean, me too. But I mean, after they just lost embarrassingly to the Bills, 31-10, this
I mean, the
past
Bills
last
are a
week.
good team. That's not too embarrassing.
It isn't too embarrassing, but I mean that hit was embarrassing because, like they said, like it wasn't a hard hit, and since he had so many concussions,
He said his brain's soft.
his brain soft, and also, I mean, Tua's also been known for having a lot of injuries because back when he was playing for Bama, 2019, he had a hip injury and it ended his whole season. So he already had that, and he already
That's
had
what made his draft stock fall.
but he still got drafted high by the Dolphins. The Dolphins took that risk. That's what people were
Take
so
the risk.
surprised.
And they said that he even might have had a couple concussions there that they didn't want to list. So, I mean, he's looking at anywhere from like 4 to 7 career concussions. And they say if you have 5, it's kind of time to tap out. I had a friend that played football, and he had like 4 or 5. And the doctor basically told him, like, you don't need to play football anymore.
Exactly.
It's like, it's time to hang him up.
And it's like all he had to do was learn how to slide, but no, like the video said, he chose like so a lot of athletes, quarterbacks, they take over the summer. They go to baseball lessons, learn how to slide, or they practice yoga. But him, nah, he did martial arts, and for some strange reason, nobody in history has done martial arts to practice on falling and landing. It doesn't make any sense, and you see, it didn't help at all. It's almost worse than what's the name?
RG3.
RG3. When he didn't learn how to slide at all. So, I mean, with that happening, this has raised so much protocol, so much awareness in the NFL. The Will Smith movie came out with the concussions, so they've been on alert. So they started doing things. I mean, they had the old rules. They used to have were real vague with teams reporting them. Also, it was real vague on who can pull you out of a game. And also the process of returning back on the field was also different. But now that it happened, the NFL has made spotters where like spotters could be up in the booth. If they see anybody that's like been tackled and now they're moving funny, or
yeah, they basically get called out of the game, and then they take him to a tent for review, and they got to pass what you said, like a couple medical experts.
Medical experts evaluations, have to pass the team doctor evaluation, and also their neurologist consultant.
Yep.
Passed that also, so they passed both of those and do an aerobics test before they even touch the field again.
Not an aerobics test.
It's acrobatic test.
Oh, I was about to say they making him jump in the pool.
No,
all right, we gotta go in the back and see how you do. You gotta swim real quick.
Nah, you gotta swim, but you gotta pass a whole bunch of tests. They're trying to crack down on it because a lot of teams are trying to bypass it. Because I remember back in the day, Brent Favre used to be like, "Yeah, I used to when I had injuries, they used to just shoot me up with shots, give me a couple pills, and tell me go out there and and next thing you know, I'm throwing for 400 yards, and then I feel it 2 days later." So I mean, it's just bad.
And he got addicted to pills.
Is that? Yeah, they get addicted to pills, dude. Did that used to happen back in the day when you was playing football?
No.
Like when people got injured, did people play injured back in the day when you was playing?
I mean, people would play with like a baby injury, but if it was like an injury where you couldn't run and you're like a receiver or a running back, like no, you have to be out. Like if you can't move and you're playing a skill position, no.
So you think that's more of like a professional thing? Like once you go to the pros, that's when they start like, nah, man, you got to pay. We're gonna shoot. Oh yeah, because I know NBA players that do it a lot.
I've even seen kids that had like broken arms and played with a cast, which is pretty like that's dedication. But they have to like wrap the cast in padding, and they have to watch like how they use it because they can get in trouble if they use it like a club.
True, and yeah, you don't want people to have, CTE like Antonio Brown.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Was it CT ESPN?
Exactly. And right now the Dolphins just signed up. The Dolphins just signed practice QB for the Baltimore Ravens, who now will be playing on the Dolphins. So we're gonna see what happens to that.
They need to call Fitzpatrick out. Come out of retirement. You suck on TV.
Not call Joe Flacco. You remember he saved the Browns. He could save them. Off the bench.
Flacco would look good in a Dolphins uniform.
Hey, but
Give him that Flacco taco.
But y'all comment down below. Do y'all feel like he should retire, or what should he do next? But
I think he should take time off, get evaluated, and if they say that he's not at risk for doing like crazy damage, give it one more shot. And if he has another bad one and is seeing any effects, and then you kind of know that's your answer.
True.
But, I know that he got paid all that money. He wants to live up to the contract. He doesn't want it just to be like, what happened to Gilbert Arenas. You get some crazy contract, you didn't get injured, and then you just get to live off that contract for the rest of your life rather than get a chance to, get one beyond that. That's tough. So hopefully he gets past his injuries. But on all, sports levels, it's tough if the injuries start piling up on you.
And like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, his brain got turned to butter. No, I mean honestly, he got older, and his fighting style turned into rope a dope, where he gets like, I can take a punch, and then at the end I can go off on them when they can't defend because they're so tired from wailing the whole time that I'll get all the points and maybe even get more, or maybe even be able to knock him out. But that strategy did work for him. Sometimes he still lost, but he took so much damage doing that he for probably the last 10 or 15 years he was even alive, like his you could see that he was struggling with his mental.
And it got nasty. It was horrible. But I mean, hopefully it gets better for Tua. All prayers go out. I mean, you see, he's saying he has enough mental capacity to say he's gonna continue playing. He's not gonna quit. So we're gonna let you know how it goes.